Hi, Junior with today's thought. Today's thought takes us to the Middle East. Big doings in the Middle East. Possibly, well, very probably bigger doings to come. The day I'm recording this, the day before you're seeing it, is, well, actually the whole world, but primarily, obviously, the Israelis are bracing for a major attack from Iran. There has been speculation that the attack could come as soon as today, the day I'm recording this, so it may have already started the day you're watching this. But the other date that had been, that people were talking about, was August 12th to the 13th, evening of August 12th to all of 13th. That happens to be a major Jewish holiday, Tisha B'Av. Now, Tisha B'Av would have a very significant, depending on how much damage the Iranians managed to do, would be very significant symbolically, because that Tisha B'Av means the 9th of Av in the Hebrew Jewish calendar, and that is the traditional date of the destruction of both the first and the second temple. So you could see why that would be very tempting as an attack date for the Iranians. On the other hand, the problem that they have is we have to understand that the Arabs, this is a mistake that the West makes repeatedly, especially when concerning the Palestinians and this idea of two states and the two-state solution, and these constant attempts that just fail and fail and fail and fail, because the Arabs, Arab culture is different from Western culture. They think differently than we do. And in their society, their civilization, honor is very, very important. That's why you've heard, I'm sure, of honor killings, where, say, a young Muslim girl goes out with a non-Muslim boy, and the parents kill her because their honor has been hurt, and they have been humiliated. And to remove the stain of the humiliation, they will kill their own daughter. So that, and they're praised for that by the rest of the Arab community. Now, not everybody. I mean, there are modern Arabs, of course. I knew several when I was living in New York. I had several for customers in my real estate business. But I'm talking about in the Middle East, and some of these cultures, honor is very important. And the Iranians have been humiliated. That is the big problem that they are having. Not just what Israel did, just killing one person, but it makes them look weak to the rest of the Arab world, and to the Arab world, I should say, not the rest of the Arab world, because the Iranians are Persians, they are not Arabs. But to the all of Middle East, makes them look weak. They have been humiliated, and they have to respond. And that's what we'll be talking about today. That's going to be the major focus, because now compare the Israelis to the Iranians as far as when they prepare and execute an attack. What Israel did, well, the bomb that killed Hania, that had been planted. It was a bomb. See, now the Iranians are saying, well, it was a missile that was fired from outside the country or something like that. And that is to minimize their humiliation, that Israelis fired a missile. It got past their air defense, the Iranian air defenses, and killed Ismail Hania. Not in some hotel, by the way, but in Revolutionary Guard residence. So it's supposed to be very secure, but the information that has come out since is that this was actually a bomb that was planted 2 months earlier, under in the room where Hania was sleeping, maybe under his bed, who knows. And that is very humiliating, that the Israelis were able somehow to plant that bomb there, and that it went undetected for 2 months. And well, the Israelis, you got to hand it to them, whether you like the Israelis or hate the Israelis. They are very creative. They come up with really interesting ways and creative ways to get the people they have to get, and they eventually get them. So the point is Israel plans, when Israel is going to do something, they planned months in advance in this case, but they plan ahead. That's number one. But number two, because they're planning so far ahead, they also they anticipate a response, I'm sure, and they are planning for that. They are already set, they already have the plans in place to go on the offensive, depending on what Iran does. They will defend first, and then they will certainly, I would say, it is a pretty safe prediction, go on the offensive. The Iranians should do the same thing. They should say, okay, well, the Israelis did that, and we're going to take months, and we'll plan something. We'll find a diplomat somewhere, and we'll assassinate him, or get their proxies. Hamas can't do anything really these days, but Hezbollah to do something. But they can't, because they have been humiliated, and there is this matter of honor. So there has to be a linkage between what the Israelis did and what the Iranians will do to respond, and it has to come close enough in time that the two are linked. So the Israelis humiliated the Iranians, now the Iranians have to humiliate the Israelis to get their honor back. And what that does is that means they have to act impulsively. They have to do something fairly soon, and that is going to be a big problem for them because they have not planned ahead, and who knows what they're going to do. The Israelis have, I'm sure, already anticipated probably a lot of missiles, rockets coming their way, and they know some will get through. They are preparing the population for that. They have bomb shelters for everybody to go into. They evacuated the north a long time ago, just because the problems of the problems they've been having with Hezbollah, with whom they will deal with sooner or later when they can reduce what they're doing in Gaza. Unless they get attacked right away, then Israel will have to respond quickly, but I'm sure they have planned for that. Now the Iranians, can they stop the Israelis from responding? Remember, the Israelis, they got 300 missiles came at them. In response, they sent a missile that destroyed an anti-missile battery. One of the things that was supposed to stop these incoming missiles. They only destroyed one, but it sent a very clear message, and again humiliated the Iranians. So look, we took this out. We can take out your entire air defenses, and that's what I'm getting to now, is how Israel responds. And it's not just enough to do something that makes sense militarily as far as tactics and strategy, but they have to humiliate the Iranians. If you're trying to remove that regime, that is one of the best things you can do, is to humiliate them, make them look weak, in never mind the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of the Iranian people, that the Israelis are capable of striking them whenever they want, whenever and wherever they want. So what should Israel do? And one option that I just mentioned is to take out all of their air defenses and say, okay, we took out your air defense, which they can do, I believe, and then if the Russians or somebody tries to resupply them as soon as those they come into the country, or as soon as they're under construction, to take those out too. But you take out the air defenses, and they are left vulnerable. They're left completely vulnerable. The Israelis can say, okay, look, we can strike anywhere at any time we want in your country, and there's nothing you can do about that. That is of great military advantage to the Israelis, of course, but it also humiliates the Iranians, that they are completely defenseless, and they can bluster and bloviate and talk about how they're going to destroy Israel, and Israel will be punished harshly for doing this or that. But the facts on the ground will speak volumes, and it will speak differently, and they will be not only weakened but humiliated. Now, another possibility is they're working on they're refining uranium. They're surely working on an atomic weapon, which the Israelis will have to deal with sooner or later. But everybody talks about how those are hidden deep underground. Well, they are, but the entrances, the way you get to those facilities, those are at ground level. So you can seal the entrances with a few bombs. That's one thing. But the main point I'm getting to is the Iranians are totally dependent for their economy on oil. When Trump was in office and stopped them from selling oil, they were on the verge of bankruptcy till Biden came in and reversed everything, and they suddenly became flush with cash, and they were able to finance all the terrorism of their proxies. But they are so dependent on oil that if you destroy their ability to dig up, refine, ship out oil, you cripple the whole country. Unfortunately, you also hurt the Iranian people, who are really the victims of this horrible regime. But those facilities, the oil tanks, those are above ground, and a lot of them, or if not most of them, are on a little island off the coast of Iran, Karg Island, K-A-R-G, Karg Island. Destroy everything there. That sends a very clear message, or just destroy part of it, or 5% or something. But it again humiliates them. But my number one suggestion that helps not just Israel but the whole world, because there have been numbers of incidents, examples of Iranian ships, the Iranian Navy stopping other countries' ships in international waters and boarding their ships. And, well, don't forget that it was during the Obama administration where an Iranian ship stopped a smaller ship, or maybe a boat, of American Marines, American sailors, and captured them and held them prisoner, took photos of them, and really and had to get an apology from the soldiers, which they did, and it was videotaped. And that was a humiliation to us. So we should not feel sorry for anything that happens to the Iranian Navy. And that is my suggestion to the Israelis: sink the Iranian Navy, because that Navy is, besides that's how they defend the country, and how they harass other shipping, and how they threaten shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, the Hormuz Strait. But it's also their pride and joy. They love their Navy. They are very, very proud of their Navy. Sink that Navy, and I really cannot think of anything more humiliating to the Iranians, except, their oil, as I just said, the oil producing and selling capacity, or their air defenses, equally humiliating. But I would go for sinking the Navy, because, number one, I think it's probably the oil facilities are the easiest, but sinking the Navy, I think the Israelis are well capable of doing that. I am sure of that. And if the world, because they will criticize Israel anytime Israel defends herself, let alone when Israel goes on the offense and attacks her enemies. But they'll say, "Oh, how dare you!" Well, that's what happened with the assassination of the Hezbollah leader I forget his name exactly, Shukr, in Lebanon, right in the middle of Beirut, which was a humiliation for Hezbollah. So I guess they have to respond too, impulsively. But the point is, this horrible administration of ours had the urge to complain to the Israelis, to criticize them, to condemn them for killing somebody, a leader of Hezbollah, the second in command, by the way, to Nasrallah, the leader, right in the middle of Beirut, right in the middle of a Hezbollah stronghold. The problem is that, you may recall, Hezbollah massacred with a car bomb 241 U.S. Marines. The person, or one of the people at least responsible for that murder of 241 American Marines was Shooker. So and on top of that, the FBI has or had a $5 million bounty, $5 million reward for Shooker, dead or alive. And I'm pretty sure that's the name. I've said it several times. If I have it wrong, then correct me, because there was one other guy, and I could be mixing them up. But the point is, the second in command in Hezbollah had a $5 million bounty on his head from the United States for his death or capture. So America, the Biden administration, can hardly complain that the Israelis took him out. In fact, I would even say which an Israeli member of the Knesset, or minister, I forgot which, said who it was, but said, well, maybe Israel's entitled to that $5 million reward. In my opinion, they are. But the point is that humiliation matters in the Middle East. Israel has to do something that not just hurts the Iranians militarily, but humiliates them in front of the whole world. Ideally, something that deprives Iran of something that they value very much, which would be their navy, their oil producing and selling facilities, their air defenses, or their burgeoning nuclear capability. So that's my suggestion. Thanks for stopping by, and my thought. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Comments welcome below the video in the comment section. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.